The most popular debt payoff strategy in America costs the average household roughly $18,000 more than the alternative. And most people choose it on purpose. Read that again. Not because they were tricked, not because they lacked discipline, because it felt right. Here is the scene. You have a few debts, you Google how to pay off debt, and every article, every podcast, every well-meaning friend tells you the same thing. Knock out the smallest balance first, get a quick win, build momentum. And honestly, that advice feels completely logical. You cross something off your list, you feel lighter, and you keep going. But that satisfying feeling of zeroing out a balance has a real dollar price tag attached to it. Most people would never consciously agree to pay $18,000 for an emotional boost, but without seeing the receipt up front, that is exactly what happens. By the end of this video, you will have a clear side-by-side comparison of two payoff strategies using one realistic debt profile, a real story from someone who lived this, and 4 simple steps you can run with your own numbers this week. No jargon, no judgment, just the math you deserve to see. The first thing we need to do is flip how you think about progress entirely. Most people operate on a simple mental model. Fewer debts on my list equals faster progress. And that feels logical because watching a debt disappear looks like winning. The account closes, the balance hits 0, and your brain registers a genuine victory. The problem is that model completely ignores where your money is actually bleeding out. Here is what is actually true. Progress in debt payoff is not measured by how many accounts you close. It is measured by how much total interest you stop paying. And the debt that is draining you the fastest is not necessarily your biggest one. It is the one with the highest interest rate. There are 2 competing strategies here, and they deserve clear names. The snowball method means you pay your smallest balance first, regardless of the interest rate on any debt. The avalanche method means you pay your highest interest rate first, regardless of how big or small that balance is. One optimizes for emotional momentum, the other optimizes for math. The central argument of this video is straightforward. In most real-world debt situations, the avalanche method saves between $10,000 and $20,000 in total interest. The only thing it costs you is the short-term feeling of not clearing small balances first. To understand why interest rate matters more than balance size, picture your debt as a bucket with several holes in the bottom. Each hole represents one of your debts. The size of each hole is determined by the interest rate, not the balance. You can spend all your time patching the small holes and you will feel productive doing it. But if the biggest hole is still open, your bucket is emptying fastest from right there. That big hole works through compound interest, which just means interest charged on top of interest you already owe. On a credit card with a 24% APR, a $5,000 balance that you only make minimum payments on does not quietly shrink. It quietly grows because the interest accrues faster than your payments chip away at the actual amount you borrowed. Here is the contrast that makes this real. A $10,000 debt at 6% costs you $600 a year in interest. A $3,000 debt at 24% costs you $720 a year. The smaller balance is the more expensive debt. That is the insight the snowball method never shows you. Every extra month you leave your highest rate debt untouched while cheerfully paying off lower rate balances, you are paying a premium to feel organized. The math does not care about your feelings, but your wallet absolutely does. Now let's put real numbers on this. Here is the debt profile. Credit card A, $3,200 at 24% APR. Credit card B, $7,500 at 19% APR. Car loan, $12,000 at 7% APR. Student loan, $18,000 at 5.5% APR. Total debt, $40,700. Monthly payment available, $800. Under the snowball method, you pay credit card A first because it has the smallest balance, then credit card B, then the car loan, then the student loan. Result, debt-free in approximately 68 months with roughly $14,200 paid in interest. Under the avalanche method, you pay credit card A first because it actually has the highest rate at 24%. In this case, the order starts the same, then credit card B at 19%, then the car loan at 7%, then the student loan. Result, debt-free in approximately 65 months with roughly $10,900 in total interest. That is a savings of about $3,300 and 3 months of your life back. Now zoom out. The average American household carries significantly more debt and takes longer than 5 years to pay it off. When you scale that interest gap across a typical 8 to 10 year payoff timeline, with higher balances, the difference compounds into the $15,000 to $18,000 range mentioned at the open, and that figure is conservative. Then there is the opportunity cost. Every dollar you overpay in interest is a dollar that never gets invested. That $3,300 in extra interest saved, invested at a 7% average market return over 20 years, grows to roughly $12,700. The real long-term cost of choosing Snowball on this profile alone is not $3,300. It is closer to $16,000 once you count what that money could have become. Now meet Marcus. He is 31, a logistics coordinator in Ohio, carrying 4 debts nearly identical to the profile we just walked through. 2 credit cards, a car loan, and a leftover student loan, with $750 a month to throw at bet after covering his minimums. Marcus started with the Snowball method on the advice of a podcast he trusted. He paid off his $2,800 store credit card in 7 months, felt incredible, and told everyone he knew. That win was completely real, and at that point it had cost him nothing extra yet. But then he kept going in balance order. 2 years in, Marcus noticed something uncomfortable. His highest rate card, $6,900 at 22% APR, had barely moved despite consistent payments, because nearly half of every payment was being absorbed by interest charges. He ran the numbers for the first time and realized he had already paid over $4,100 in interest on that one card while he was busy celebrating smaller victories elsewhere. Marcus switched to Avalanche at month 26. He attacked the 22% card with everything he had, then cleared the remaining card, then the car loan. By the time he was completely debt-free, his total interest paid under the Snowball path was on track to exceed the Avalanche path by approximately $11,000. Money he would have simply handed to lenders for the privilege of feeling organized. Marcus now says, "I didn't need the quick win. I needed to know what the quick win was actually costing me." That one sentence is the entire lesson of this video, and it points directly to why so many of us make the same call Marcus did. The reason Marcus chose Snowball, and the reason most people do, is not a character flaw. Our brains are genuinely wired for immediate visible feedback. Crossing a debt off a list triggers a real dopamine response, the same reward system that makes video games compelling. That is not weakness, that is biology working exactly as it was designed. The Avalanche method's disadvantage is that its wins are invisible. You are saving money you never see deposited anywhere. You are just paying less to a lender over time. And the human brain struggles to celebrate the absence of a cost the same way it celebrates a zeroed out balance. Closing accounts feels like forward momentum. And it is momentum, just not efficient momentum. It is the financial equivalent of cleaning the easiest room in your house first because it looks better faster, while the room that actually needed the most work sits untouched down the hall. Activity and efficiency are not the same thing. The gap between Snowball and Avalanche is not a gap in discipline or willpower, it is a gap in information. Most people who choose Snowball have simply never seen the total interest comparison placed side by side. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it, and that is exactly what this video just gave you. So here is what you do this week. 4 steps. Step 1. Write down every debt you have, balance, minimum payment, and APR, which stands for annual percentage rate, the yearly cost of borrowing that is printed on every statement. Ignore the balances for now. You are sorting by rate, not size. Step 2, put your highest APR debt at the top of the list. That is debt number 1, regardless of the balance. Pay every minimum on every other debt and throw every extra dollar at debt number 1 until it is gone. That is the entire Avalanche strategy. Step 3, run your own numbers in 5 minutes. Use a free debt avalanche calculator, undebt.ite or Vertex42, both free, no sign-up required. Enter your debts and your monthly payment. It will show you your payoff date and total interest under both methods side by side. Your personal version of the gap. Step 4. Set every minimum payment to auto-pay today. Your only manual decision each month is sending extra money to debt number 1. Everything else runs itself, and you eliminate the risk of missing a payment while your focus is elsewhere. One more thing, if Avalanche feels too abstract to start, here is a legitimate middle ground. If your smallest balance debt is also close in rate to your highest rate bet, within 2 or 3 percentage points, pay it off first. The math cost is small and the psychological boost is real. But if there is a significant rate gap between them, the math wins every time. Using the debt profile from earlier, a viewer who switches to Avalanche today finishes 3 months earlier with $3,300 more in their pocket. Invested at 7% over a decade, that becomes roughly $4,700. Across a full household debt load, that scales to $18,000 or more, which is exactly the number we opened with. The core lesson is this simple. The order you pay off your debts is not a feelings decision. It is a math decision, and the math almost always points to your highest interest rate first. None of this requires earning more money, cutting every expense, or becoming a financial expert. It only requires changing the order of something you are already going to do. Same money, same discipline, dramatically different result. You are always going to pay these debts off. Now you are going to pay them off smarter. Drop your highest interest rate in the comments. Just the rate, no personal details needed, and I will tell you whether Avalanche or a hybrid approach makes more sense for your specific situation. And if you want to see what happens to that $18,000 once your debt is completely gone and you start putting it to work in the market, that is the next video. Subscribe so you do not miss it.